Hi everyone, welcome back to the Village Cricketers. I'm Satyam, this is Ravi, and today we're going to be talking about the first ODI between India and South Africa, which unfortunately India have lost. So not a great result for us, but yeah, going to kind of dissect it, go into the ins and outs, what we think went wrong. So yeah, let's jump into it, Rav. First innings, South Africa, I mean, it started pretty well for India.
Mm.
Seemed like we were kind of on top of them, but obviously a really great partnership there by Van der Dusen and Bavuma took the game away from us a little bit. I mean, they were saying on the commentary that they felt like the pitch wasn't the best. You saw some of those scores previous teams have made. Not many teams really getting up there to 300, so
Mm.
they seem to do a pretty good job. What did you make of that, and what did you make of India's bowling?
Yeah, so just initial thoughts on the whole thing was India let them get too many runs. So they shouldn't
Yeah.
have let them get 296, um, especially given the start that I think we started pretty well. We kept them down. We got a couple wickets, and
Mm.
we should have really like kind of knuckled down then, and we let it slip. And given the fact that I think the average first inning score on that ground was about 230 or 226 or something like that. So
Yeah.
those two, I didn't think South Africa would get anywhere near 300. I thought
Mm.
that in the middle, um, you know, Shardul, he was pretty expensive and didn't get a wicket.
Mm.
Booby also went over six and over and didn't get a wicket. So Temba, Bavuma, and yeah, Van der Dussen played. I mean, look, as soon as Van der Dussen came in, he started attacking. He scored his first 30 runs in about 26 balls or something like that.
Yeah.
So quite counter-attacked, and I think that took the pressure away from them. But at the end of the day, they played really well. The dude Van der Dussen made 129 in 96 balls.
Yeah.
So really piled
And
on.
he just looked really comfortable, didn't he? Like
Yeah,
throughout, and yeah, I think made that pitch probably look a lot better than it actually was.
definitely.
So
It definitely was.
I don't know.
Sorry,
It's
sorry.
just it's hard because equally, like I felt like Shikhar Dhawan and even Kohli were looking pretty comfortable, to be honest.
Mm,
But then I mean, we'll come on to India's innings in a moment, but like. Yeah, it's kind of hard to actually judge that pitch in hindsight. Like I'm still not sure whether it was a bad pitch or actually whether India's batting just wasn't great. But yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you. The bowling, like we only took 3 wickets. Bumrah took 2 of those. It does feel like there's just a lot of not pressure, but we kind of just without Bumrah, the rest of them will just look a little bit average really at the moment.
yeah, I
Like, is
mean
there
the
anyone else we turn to for wickets?
yeah, I mean like the pitch itself was like a lovely color. It was like sand and had no blemishes on it, so it just looked just nice
Yeah.
to look at. But yeah, it was definitely slow to begin with, and I think that's why we capitalized in the beginning. Definitely
Mm.
got better as when we batted, the pitch was definitely better. The ball was coming onto the bat. But yeah, I mean,
Mm.
back to the bowling, the spinners between them, I think look, they bowled between Ashwin and Chahal bowled 20 overs for about 106 and got one wicket. So
Yeah.
maybe there was something there. Not that they went for so many runs, but I think we didn't really capitalize on those moments there.
Yeah.
Generally, the fielding was poor. I thought we dropped. I know Shreyas dropped a catch. It wasn't the easiest, but it
Yeah.
wasn't exactly very difficult.
No, I
And
agree.
I just felt they weren't in it. They weren't in the game. The mindset wasn't there. It felt very weird.
Yeah.
So going back to the start of it, it felt very weird. Being obviously Virat not being captain, his first match not being captain. Um, it was a
How
very
much of an
weird
impact
vibe.
do you feel like how much of an impact do you feel like that had on the kind of it didn't feel like there was that same intensity in the field, like you were saying, people were kind of misfielding. There's a couple there that they sort of like overthrows for four and stuff like that.
Mm.
Um, do you think any of that can be put down to that like change in captaincy? Do people kind of not really know where to look on the field for that leadership? Like definitely Kohli's kind of energy felt a lot lower than what we're used to.
Yeah.
Um, or are we just reading too much into that? And is that really just an
No,
excuse?
no. I think it's not an excuse to. It's no excuse to lose the game because of that, right? It's because India
Mm.
at some points were in the driving seat, so it's nothing to do with that. But yes, at the
Yeah.
start, lack of energy, lack of noise, like you hardly hear anything. And this is what Kohli kind of brings to the team. I think also Kohli, you know, when you have a guy in authority that people look to what to do, like you said, they don't know who to turn to, but also they don't want to disappoint him. They're a bit, so it's not scared, but in a good way, that if I mess up, he's going to look at me in that way, and I don't want him to look at me that way, right? Which Rahul, it's probably like he's new. If I mess up, it doesn't really matter. Generally, Rahul doesn't have that energy. He's more of a chilled guy, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing in terms of captaining a team. Because if you take someone like Owen Morgan, who's not, he's a very chilled guy. He's been very successful in it. But look, Rahul isn't the long-term captain anyway. Well, for now, it's going to be Rohit Sharma anyway. So I think give him a chance. But yeah, definitely the energy wasn't as intense.
You say that, but I think Rohit's like 34 or something. So long term, I think Rahul probably is the captain, right? Like, I think they're putting him in that position for the long term. I mean, just on his captaincy, while we're talking about it, I think the one thing I would have liked to have seen is maybe given like Venkatesh Iyer at least a few overs, because clearly it wasn't happening for Thakur, it wasn't happening for Chahal, it wasn't happening for like Bhuvi. Like in that whole middle period where they had that kind of long partnership, I felt like we just needed something different, and why not chuck him the ball? It kind of felt like we just run out of ideas, and he just didn't even explore that option, which I thought was a little bit strange, but maybe just not confident in him, or he's obviously not played that many games. So, but yeah, I mean, it would have been nice, I think.
Definitely, I think you're completely right, because he's there as somewhat of an all-rounder. He can bowl. Otherwise, they could have had like someone. If he's not going to bowl Venkatesh Iyer, then there's no point of him being in the team. In my opinion, you might as well have a better batsman like Surya Kumar Yadav or one of these guys, right?
Or just get Gaikwad in there,
Exactly. The thing with that Gaikwad is that Rahul wants to open, even though Rahul recently in ODIs has had more success coming in the middle, like number 5, which is where I thought he would originally be, and I would want someone like Gaikwad to open, because I think he's going to be an awesome player for India. Rahul obviously wants to open and didn't do too well. He got out to Markram, which is like, come on, part-timer bowling off spin at you. I could have hit him.
So let's get into that a little bit then. Indian batting. So that was quite a strange move, but it seemed like it worked out really nicely for them. Actually, South Africa kind of starting with the spinner and actually having pace in the middle. But yeah, I mean, what did you make of India's batting in particular, but also South Africa's bowling?
I think India were okay at the start for sure. Like, okay, Markram went at 3 and over for his first 2 or 3 overs, but then after a while, they pushed it up. They actually started attacking him more. I think Rahul's dismissal against him was more of a bit tentative. It wasn't authoritative, like, okay, I'm going to go down and defend him. It was more of like, I'm just putting the bat there anyway, because it's like a premeditated defense, and just kind of caught him on guard. So, off guard, sorry. But look, once he's out, fine. Kohli and Dhawan put on a really good partnership. They were going at a good rate. They were scoring easily singles. It wasn't an easy pitch to actually hit boundaries on. I think that's why the Van der Dussen's innings was actually really good, because it actually wasn't an easy pitch to hit boundaries on. But singles and twos were there, definitely. And I think at that point, India should have won it, is what I was thinking. But it's a classic case, if you get 2 wickets quickly, it puts so much pressure on the rest. And young guys, Shreyas, Pant, I wanted them to do it. Then after them, it's just Ashwin and Shardul, and they're all-rounders at best.
Yeah, I think, the whole game just kind of turned on its head, didn't it, within the space of maybe 5 overs, possibly? Like, I think 30 overs in, they were just going very smoothly. Kohli, Shikhar Dhawan, totally solid. And then just suddenly wickets fell, and then the whole match flipped on its head. I think a couple of things I noticed. I think you mentioned the kind of 2s and 3s. I think South Africa definitely ran better between the wickets as well. I think, again, like Bavuma and Van der Dussen in their partnership, so many shots they played, which I felt like were a single, and they were taking 2s. And I don't think we did that as well. But yeah, I think really where we lost it was obviously just that middle order. And a lot of soft dismissals, I felt, like Kohli's in particular. That was a strange shot. Not used to seeing him do that. But I think the one thing I would say, obviously the game just kind of looked like it was done by about sort of over 36 or 7 or whatever it was. I like that we kind of stuck at it. I think I've said this previously to you that sometimes the Indian lower order just go out there and just like, oh, screw it, we've lost, let's just smack it and get out, and we're all out by like the 42nd over.
Yeah.
I like the Shardul and even Bumrah at the end there hung in, actually showed that they can bat. Like again, Shardul, I think for me just showed that for me he's one of our best players, because he can actually do it all. And yeah, I like that we batted the whole way through, even though we obviously still lost. I think it's nice to have those guys have some time in the middle. I think it's so important that we can just like bat throughout and all the way down, hopefully to like 9, 10, etc. So that for me was one silver lining at the end. But yeah, I think disappointing from Pant, Iyer, both Ayers. In fact, is anything you think you'd change there, or what do you feel like needs to happen for that second game?
Yeah, I'm not I'm not a fan of being very reactionary after just one game, because if you have your team and you believe in them, you have to give them a chance. But going in terms of if it feels before this game, I would definitely have liked Rahul to bat number 5. I wouldn't have want Venkatesh Iyer in the team, especially if they're not going to use him as a bowler. If they're going to use him as a bowler, fair enough, right? Have him there. And they should have used him as a bowler today. I'm a big fan of Gaikwad from what he's done in the IPL and also in the domestic limited overs series tournaments there. So I think he's definitely one for the future. And I want India to be a bit more attacking at the top, but the top 4 are generally accumulators between Shikhar Dhawan, Rahul, Kohli, and Shreyas. I know Pant came in at number 4 today, but they're more accumulators. And I'd love to have someone at the top who's a bit more aggressive, and Gaikwad for me would be that person.
Yeah, definitely. I think even more so in T20s, actually, I strongly feel that we're way too conservative at the top. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It's probably right to stick with the team, but I also agree with you. I'm not sure that lineup is exactly the way I would have it. I think maybe getting someone with a bit more firepower in there up top. Having said that, I think Shikhar Dhawan can do that kind of role sometimes. And it's quite nice to see him there. And it did actually make me think, like, why doesn't he get a look into the test side a little bit more as well? I know he's played in it previously, but I think having that left-hander up there to kind of balance out a right-hander is quite nice. I thought he played really well.
Yeah, no, he's a big fan of him in the white ball. He's been a great ODI player for us. Test, yes, I think he's been given his chance. For me, he's passed his chance as a test player. He's failed too many times, is what I feel. He just can't handle something like a moving ball, pretty much. But he's a wonderful player, man. But I think with him, when he gets to that 70, 80 runs, he starts doing that. He moves his feet around to distract the bowlers and things like that. And that's when he's either very, very comfortable, or he's a bit overconfident, or he's a bit itchy that he wants to get to the 100 quickly. And then I always notice when he does that, he seems to get himself out somehow. So I think when he gets to 70, 80, if he just like knuckles down and acts normal, he could probably just like go on to score those hundreds.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a shame he couldn't get there today. Cool. Okay. So any final thoughts? Anything else you want to say about about the game, about the captaincy?
Yeah, look, just another my thoughts on Virat. I was very sad when he announced his retirement. When he stepped down from captaincy. Like pretty sad about that. But I hope it's like I hope it gives him like this new spur of energy to actually become Virat 3.0, right? And just focus all of his energy on his batting, which is what he does. I still want him to be aggressive in the field. I still want him to bring that energy and act like, be in your face. Like I don't want that to die down of the Indian team and be more conservative. It's for me, like watching him now, I want him to do well even more. Just when you have someone that, yes, he's your leader, but now he's stepped down, but he's still there. He still has different points to prove now. It's not about leadership now. It's about, okay, can you still do it with the bat, which I'm sure he will. So man, I wish that guy a lot of success, and it's a joy to watch him at all times.
100%. I think he's been an amazing servant for India. And I think he'll still be a leader in the team, won't he? Like he's still, I think he's naturally a leader. He's always going to be there. Yeah, I think probably this first kind of series of games, be that ODIs, tests, whatever, there's probably going to be that slight awkwardness. I think partially, I can imagine that he's purposefully downplaying his energy just because like he doesn't want to like feel like he's overwhelming Warhol. And I can imagine Warhol's probably like always might do anyway, have in the back of his mind, oh, you know, what does Virat think about my decision here, there, or whatever. So I think that'll probably take a little bit of time for them to get used to. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, they seem to all get on, and hopefully, yeah, it'll be kind of a positive influence on kind of Warhol and help him learn and make the right choices. But yeah, definitely, he's had an amazing career, and I wouldn't be surprised if his batting does improve now that he's not got that pressure on him for the captaincy. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I think next game in 2 days. So fingers crossed that'll kind of go better for India. But yeah, we'll kind of be back for that, be analysing it as usual. If you liked our content, definitely like, subscribe, leave us a comment down below. And yeah, take care. We'll see you next time.